Welcome back to The Great Stink, Part 2. Something had to be done. Even if government leaders didn't understand exactly why the Great Stink was dangerous, they knew something had to be done. Fast. With handkerchiefs pressed to their noses, they quickly passed a law, mandating the construction of a new sewer system. The sewers would run underground alongside the river rather than into it, carrying waste out of the city and away from where people lived. In later years, treatment plants were added to clean the waste, making it safe to release into the environment. It took thousands of workers, 318 million bricks, 3.5 million pounds of concrete, and what would be $6 billion in today's money to construct London's new sewer system. The sewer system officially opened in 1865, and soon the Thames was poop-free. In 1866, one final cholera epidemic struck London, but it was limited to a neighborhood that had not yet been connected to the new sewer system. This helped people begin to realize that polluted water, not miasma, was the source of cholera and other diseases. By the 1850s, cholera had vanished from the city. A new crisis. London's new sewer system inspired similar projects in cities around the world, including in U.S. cities like New York. Many parts of those systems are still being used today, more than a century later. Over the years, however, these antique sewers have started to fall apart. Since the 1800s, many city populations have continued to multiply. Climate change is triggering heavier storms that overload pipes with rainwater. Under these pressures, the original sewers, once a dazzling modern wonder, have begun to leak, break, clog, and overflow. In some places, waste has been oozing into the drinking water supply. Many experts say we may be approaching a new sewage crisis. If we don't take action, we could soon be holding our noses through the Great Stink Part 2. If I remember correctly, I've been hearing a lot about people talking about how we should only use toilet paper in our toilets instead of using paper towels and napkins and tissues and other things, since we have a toilet paper crisis. Interesting problem. Toilets of the future. This is a different article, but still addressing the same issue. It says, these toilets could help solve one of the world's most serious problems, how to safely get rid of human waste. I'll let you take a look at the images later. It starts off. Here in the U.S., most of us probably don't think much about toilets. We go, we flush, we wash our hands, we move on. Well, what if your home didn't have a toilet? What if none of the homes in your town had a toilet? What would happen to all the waste? Before long, there would be a crisis, just as there was in London back in 1858. Today, 4.5 billion people around the world do not have access to safe sanitation. That is a way to dispose of human waste that won't harm people or the environment. I know this probably doesn't matter to you, but I can still remember my mother telling me, who is close to 70 now, saying the first time she saw indoor plumbing or got to use an actual toilet was when she went to college in her late teens, early 20s. Kind of an interesting thought. Anyway, it says, as a result, untreated human waste ends up in food and water sources. According to the World Health Organization, hundreds of thousands of people die every year from disease related to unsafe sanitation. Millions more are sickened. This sanitation crisis mainly affects developing countries, which tend to have high levels of poverty. It might seem like the answer is to build more toilets and sewer systems in these places, but it's not that simple. Conventional sewer systems require a lot of money to build and a lot of water to operate. Many developing countries don't have enough of either. Some developing countries that you can think about would be like places in Africa. There might be even some places in other parts of the world, but that's usually the common place we think of. It continues to say the U.S. faces sanitation challenges too. Really? In the U.S., some aging sewers are crumbling under the strain of too many people using them. Some towns are running out of fresh water. Could one of these innovative waterless toilets be the solution to today's sanitation challenges? Self-powering toilet. The nanomembrane toilet gets rid of waste by burning it. When you close the lid, the waste drops into a pan. From there, liquid waste, aka urine, is filtered into clean water and can be used for watering plants, but not for drinking. Any solid waste, aka poop, is burned into ash. The best part, the whole process generates enough electricity to power the toilet, as well as other small devices like your smartphone. This sounds similar to what I know some people do out in Montana and other wildlife parks, where they have an outdoor toilet that is biodegradable, but they use the sunlight. A worm toilet. Ew. The tiger toilet breaks down waste with worms. Beneath the toilet and out of view of users, oh thank goodness, live a colony of tiger worms. These critters eat organic waste, including feces. As the worms digest waste, harmful bacteria is removed. In the end, all that's left is a mix of water, carbon dioxide, and some harmless worm poop that can be used for fertilizer. And the last one, the composting toilet. Another new toilet turns waste into fertilizer using heat. Here's how it works. Human waste is kept in a chamber attached to the toilet. The temperature inside the chamber is very high. The high heat, along with oxygen, spurs the growth of bacteria that naturally breaks down waste over time. Eventually, what's left can be used as fertilizer in gardens and backyards. But be careful, not all composting toilets produce fertilizer that is safe to use for growing food. Sounds similar to what I had mentioned earlier. Anyway, thank you for joining me as we read through our first read of That Stinks, or in this case, the article says, The Great Stink. See you next class.